Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fridays in May. I wish I could see all of you, and I'm sorry that I cannot. So I'm sending good wishes and sunshine and happy Mother's Day to all of you out there. I am here today. For those of you who don't know me, I probably should introduce myself. I'm Glora. I am the Healthy Aging Program Manager here at Ethos. I am here with my colleague, Ray Santos, who is the Chief Development and Communications Officer for our organization, and he's also the Chief Techie, so I'm relieved to have him by my side today. Patrice Gattosi is here also. She's part of the Age Well and Nutrition departments, and she helps us out in all kinds of different ways. So welcome. Most of you know, but Ethos is one of the three ASAPs, Aging Services Access Points in Boston. You'll be hearing that acronym and those words a lot today and through the next 4 weeks, and spending a lot of time on the information that all of our agencies do next week as well, so you'll have to stay tuned. We are a private nonprofit organization that helps seniors and the disabled stay at home, live independently for as long as they'd like to do that. And we're currently serving many families, way over 3,000 individuals and families in this area. So we are so happy to have you with us. Today is our first Friday, and we're going to focus on advocacy and volunteerism. We have representatives from the Massachusetts Council on Aging, the Mass Home Care, and Generations Incorporated. So welcome to our speakers. And I'm going to get us started with our first speaker, who is Tara Haynes from the Mass Council on Aging. She is their Member Services Director, and she focuses primarily on nutrition and wellness issues. And if she looks familiar to some of you, she used to work with Ethos. So we're happy to have her back with us today. Tara is a registered dietitian and a distinguished community nutrition professional with over 20 years of experience in communication, nutrition, and leadership experience. She's worked in the older adult nutrition area for the last 10 years and is currently a member of the Massachusetts Commission on Malnutrition Prevention among older adults, and that's a lot to say. Her sociable, self-deprecating approach is elemental to building capacity and collaboration. She's as comfortable speaking to a third grade classroom as she is to a board of directors. And she sent me a little PS that says she likes cookies. Don't we all? So Tara, welcome. So happy to have you with us today.
Thank you for the invitation. I am very happy to be back among my friends at Ethos and within so many great leaders in the aging community in Boston and Massachusetts. So as Anne mentioned, my name is Tara Haynes. I am with the Massachusetts Councils on Aging. MCOA is a trade association for all of the councils on aging and their centers in the Commonwealth. So there are just about 351 different councils on aging. And we provide support and leadership on a number of initiatives for the COAs that span from transportation to outreach to volunteerism, behavioral health, which we know has been seriously impacted during the pandemic, referrals, information, economic and housing security, and nutrition. So what I wanted to do today is give an overview of what I've been doing in this role, which is brand new to MCOA, because they recognized that older adult malnutrition is a severe issue. Excuse me. And so this role works with the COAs independently as well as the network as a whole. So we're working with COAs one-on-one and then creating tools that they can use and you can use as well. And so I know the theme for today is advocacy and volunteerism. I want to give you some tools and some information so that you can be an advocate for primarily nutrition, but not just, in your own role and then in your community as well. So with that said, and a reminder, if anyone does not know where their Council on Aging is, you can call us, but obviously Ethos is in Boston. I'm based in Boston, which is great. And your Council on Aging is the City of Boston Age Strong Commission. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Dance while we do it. Alrighty.
And sometimes it does take a moment or two for screens to pop up, and it looks like we may have lost Tara for a moment, and we will try to fill in the gaps until she comes back on. This is such the life that we're all working and managing today, and technology is not always perfect. And we've actually gotten pretty good about, sort of adapting and overcoming all these technology issues. If any of you do have questions and or want particular topics covered, please do send us a message through the chat function. We will do our best to answer those questions as we go along. And also at the end, we will have an opportunity for a Q&A. And we'll sort of give Tara a moment. Oh, looks like we got her back, which is fantastic. Usually takes a little bit longer, so we're so glad to have Tara back. Great job recovering.
Whew, I'm not sure where I left off.
I think you were just getting your slides up, and maybe we can try it one more time, and let's see if we can get that back up and running. So Tara, the spotlight is back on you. Awesome.
Okay, am I backing it up from the beginning with the slides?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Okay, I apologize, folks.
And we're keeping our fingers crossed that Tara is not frozen again. And it does look like we have another small little hang up. I think, while we have Tara try to come back on, maybe Anne, if you could just speak briefly a little bit about volunteering and volunteer opportunities at Ethos, and we can talk about them again at the end as well, but maybe just to give folks a sense for what's available within their local community.
Yes, I'm happy to do that. I don't know if you know that Ethos is run a lot with volunteer labor. Each year, over 500 community volunteers contribute over $1 million worth of service with Ethos. So we could not do what we do as well as we do it without the help of volunteers. And volunteers work as little as once or twice a year, maybe delivering Thanksgiving meals on Thanksgiving morning, or helping to set up the senior prom, or as much as every day serving meals at our community cafes, and everything in between. So once or twice a week, teaching a healthy aging class or serving at other cafes, helping with grocery shopping, helping with monthly financial management, or even just giving a senior a call once a week just to check in and just to say hello. So you can give as much or as little time as you would like to give. And whatever your talents are, I'm sure we can put them to good use. COVID has changed a lot of what we do and how we do it, but please don't let that stop you from contacting us if you're really interested in volunteering and helping out in your community. And Patrice, I'm going to ask you to put in the chat our website and our main phone number if folks are interested in learning more. You can also tuck my email address in there as well if folks want to contact me directly. There is a volunteer application online in our website that you can fill out, and our volunteer coordinator will give you a call and find out more about how you would like to help serve your community. And we would love to have you join us. So come on down. It's fun.
That's great, Anne. And I think we have Tara back. We have the slides up, which I'm going to try to share them on her behalf, and keeping my fingers crossed here that
Keeping mine crossed too.
that you see your slides. And
thank you for doing that.
No problem. Always have to be able to adapt to everything that's happening. So with that, I'll turn it over to Tara, and just let me know when you want me to swap slides.
Advance, please. Yep. Okay. In case you haven't heard this twice before, I will gladly repeat it for you. This is our homepage on the MCOA website. You are welcome to visit it. There is the address, our office phone number. You can follow us on Facebook or Twitter to stay up to date with some of the alerts that we send out. And then there is a variety of information on there that you could use, linking back to some of those areas that I mentioned, and specifically nutrition. Age Strong Commission's phone number is there, which is the local number for folks. And Ray, go ahead and advance. One of the things I want to point out on our website is under the latest news and the weekly brief archive, you can sign up to receive the future briefs, as well as look at what's going on over the past, I think we have 2 months of archives up there. But this comes out once a week, and you can learn more about what's happening and how you can be an advocate for older adults. Next slide. Because malnutrition is so severe, not just nationwide, but obviously also in Massachusetts, we are focusing on how impactful it is on the lives of those who are aging in place, and what we can do to decrease food insecurity or nutrition insecurity, which is now the new term for it, because you might have access to food, but not the nutrients that you need. Defeat Malnutrition is a nationwide organization. They have fantastic graphics and information that you can also go and access. Next slide. Since I mentioned that becoming an advocate either for your own or for someone else, you'll find some tools on our site. This one is a validated tool called the Malnutrition Screening Tool. It's 2 questions, and it will identify whether someone is at risk for malnutrition or not at risk. Once this is completed, the older adult can take it to their primary care provider and say, look, help, what resources are available to me? And if they don't want to do that, we can still help them out in the community. Next slide. And how do we do that? So this is something I created, and this is just a portion of it, called the Nutrition Community Checklist, a self-assessment. Since I'm working with the Councils on Aging individually, I really want to get a feel for what's happening in their community. What are the grocery stores that exist? What are the corner stores? Do they have a local food pantry folks can get to? Are they a partner with the SNAP program to help older adults apply for SNAP? Do they have a meal program? Is it provided by their local nutrition program, or are they running it themselves, etc.? So if you're interested, you can print this out and run through it in your mind and say, oh, we don't have the CFSP program. We don't have any farm stands near us or a farmer's market. And then take steps to see if you can bring that into your community. Or you might have a farmer's market, but lack transportation to get to it. That could be resolved by partnering with someone else if you're in a rural community, or it could be even bringing the farmer's market to your agency location regularly. If there's anything listed or referenced to on this assessment that you're not familiar with, feel free to email me. My next version of this will actually have links built into it, so you can familiarize yourself, because some folks might not want to ask. So I'm going to try to make it as user-friendly as possible. Next slide. And speaking of SNAP, I'm going to get on my SNAP soapbox here for a moment. One of the most important things folks can do when advocating for nutrition around older adults is to encourage them to apply for SNAP. Every 6 months, I ask the Massachusetts Department of Transitional Assistance what the average benefit is for a single older adult living alone is by town in Massachusetts. And so you'll see, as of January 2021, the average monthly benefit was $145.91. A lot of folks think that the benefit is the minimum or even twice that, so it isn't worth applying. And I want to get that out of folks' consciousness, because not only is the benefit higher on a regular basis, but because we are in the middle of the pandemic, so it's a federal and a state declaration, there are supplemental funds. Right now, 93,000 households of those that I just mentioned are receiving the maximum amount. So they're getting a supplemental boost. So I had a gentleman call and say, something's wrong with my account. I usually only get $16 a month, and now I have 192 in there. And I said, nope, that's the way the supplemental program is set up. On top of the supplemental program, there was a boost with changes in the income thresholds in January. There's a 15% boost that was running from January to June on top of what folks were getting, which was now extended into September. And then alongside of this doesn't even take into account the Healthy Incentives Program, which is HIP. And that's at least another $40 to $80, really, that folks would get every single month. So you can see it really adds up, and you can help screen folks for this. You can become a SNAP partner. You can just share the information. All of those are links, and you are welcome to download it and share it. I think it's a great tool so folks can see, oh, wow, there really is going to be more money in there for me. And remind older adults that SNAP is not one of those programs where if they decide to pass on it because they think someone else is in greater need, that doesn't happen. It's there, folks have paid into it. If someone is eligible, they should definitely take advantage of it. Okay, I'll step off my soapbox. Thank you, Ray. Next slide. We also have a variety of other tools that we created to try to continue providing nutrition information to older adults during the pandemic while they were socially isolated. Long story short, it has developed into a monthly series, and I film it from my home. It's homey, it's fun. We're doing a video a month with a recipe handout focusing on food safety and nutrition information and highlighting any health observances that are occurring. I have a whole video on SNAP I'm putting together right now, but these are available on YouTube, and then all of the handouts are there for folks to download as well. This is just a sample of what we've been working on over the past year around nutrition. If folks are interested in additional materials, or if they have an idea of, hey, wouldn't it be nice if there was a tool that did XYZ, feel free to reach out to me because I'm happy to either look for it or create it. And I welcome any of your questions and your feedback. And I'll go ahead and put a bunch of these links in the chat for you to click on while you are paying attention to the next presenter. But there's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks, Ray.
Sarah, thank you so much for that great information. In the age-well department here at Ethos, we teach a healthy eating class, and one of the biggest complaints from our seniors is how expensive it is to eat a healthy diet. So I encourage all of you to go on the MCOA website and take a look at what's available for you. Today is all about advocacy and volunteerism. Well, advocate for yourself and take advantage of the programs that are there for you that can help you eat a healthy diet and stay healthy along the way. So Tara, thank you so much for joining us. Our next presenter is from Mass Home Care. She is Lisa Guergone, and she is their executive director. She's a seasoned advocate and speaker with an extensive knowledge of the political, elder services, home care, and healthcare systems in Massachusetts. Prior to joining Mass Home Care, Lisa served as the executive director of the Home Care Aid Council for over 15 years. She also worked as a legislative aide within the Massachusetts legislature. Sorry, it's Friday. She served as a health research assistant for the Massachusetts Division of Healthcare Finance and Policy. And she was a mediator and internship coordinator for the Massachusetts Attorney General, Scott Harshbarger. She completed her graduate studies at UMass Boston, earning a certificate in Women in Politics and Public Policy. She has a Master's of Science in Public Affairs and her bachelor's degree in human services from Lesley University. So Lisa, welcome. We're so nice to have you. It's so nice to have you here with us.
Thank you, Anne and Ray, for inviting me. I'm really excited to be here with an esteemed panel of colleagues that I'm really privileged to work with. So I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Let's hope it goes a little better. Technology always, here we go. Do you guys see that? No? Yes? Great, excellent, okay. So I'm gonna just quickly today talk about my role at Mass Home Care. So Mass Home Care is the trade association representing the Commonwealth's network of aging service access points, which Ethos is one, and we call those ASAPs, and area agencies on aging. And in Boston, the area agency on aging is the Age Strong Commission out of the mayor's office. And so what we do is we work with all of those organizations. And again, this is Ethos and Age Strong are the Boston, or part of the Boston network, but there are actually 28 ASAPs and 23 area agencies on aging statewide. And we try to work with them in the legislature, in the administration, the Executive Office of Elder Affairs, Health and Human Services, even the federal government, to make sure that older adults and individuals with disabilities can live in the least restrictive setting as possible for as long as possible with the highest level of functioning as possible. So it's the three possibles, really trying to help people live in the communities and stay where they want as they age. This is a map that just shows our network. Again, Ethos is part of a larger network of ASAP AAAs, as well as Age Strong. And this map shows you where in the state the different organizations lie. And really, our goal is to make sure that our network of ASAPs and AAAs provide information and referral to families and older adults. We know so many people are confused as they age, what's available, what's not. We also offer home care services. We provide case management services that can go out, talk to a family, see what the needs are, and then develop a care plan to support those needs. Maybe put it in home care, offer some of the volunteer services I'll talk about that Ethos provides information on, and really try to support that person as they live at home. We also work to do assessments if someone wants to go into a nursing home. And really part of that is to make sure they're eligible for services, and also are there other options to help support that person. And finally, we manage the Elder Protective Services program. So if someone has a concern about fraud, abuse against an older adult, we help support those people as well. And really, our work has become more important recently because the government and healthcare entities have realized that social determinants of health, what happens in your home, and to speak to what Tara said earlier, how you eat, how well you eat, if there are grocery stores close by, really impacts an individual's health. And I think 10, 20 years ago, people were really focused on healthcare and genetics, but research now shows that 60% of what determines your health is those social issues. And our network is really designed to help address the social concerns people face. This is just a slide that shows you a snapshot of the program and the people we serve statewide. And this is a little bit old data. I have some new data. I will be updating this slide. But in 2018, we were serving about 63,000 consumers statewide. As you see, the average age was over the age of 80, with 21% of our consumers over the age of 90. So really older individuals in our communities, and we're keeping them home. 36% qualify for nursing homes, but are staying home because of the services we offer. 55% live alone. And we're really helping to divert costs for the state in terms of about $300 million per year in money that would have been spent in a nursing home is saved because people are staying home. So it's not just that we are providing services, which in my opinion is most important, that where people want to be, but we're also saving the Commonwealth and the federal government funding. And this is to show you, because I think this comes up a lot, we are seeing, unfortunately, a significant growth in the number of protective service reports we're receiving in the Commonwealth. This is some of the data, but reports are increasing. So I share that today as a call for all of you, a call to action. If you see something, you really need to share it. I know myself, one day I was walking in my neighborhood and I saw a gentleman who certainly did not look well by himself. I think the best in those situations, the best thing to do is to call. Call our Elder Protection Network. We want to make sure we're reaching those people. It's such a big, important role. So certainly keep your eyes out as you're out and about. And then I wanted to note our response to COVID. We've been doing a lot, and again, in collaboration with the Councils on Aging and the ASAPs. And this also speaks to the volunteer opportunities. We've done a lot more with meals. We have increased the number of Meals on Wheels in the Commonwealth statewide by 30% during COVID. And that program, the Meals on Wheels program, relies heavily on the volunteers. We have people who volunteer to be drivers and deliver the meals. And that's such an important role. I know the Councils on Aging offer congregate sites, and they've done a lot of drop and go pick up where people can pick up meals. Volunteers help with that. So volunteers are essential to the meal delivery program. As you see here, some of our ASAPs have also launched volunteer neighbor initiatives where people can be partnered with a neighbor to just touch base, address social isolation. Again, another way to be involved. We also offer the money management program. I know Ethos has this program where we actually pair up volunteers with elders who need help paying their bills. And that's a really great way to get involved. There's a wonderful nursing ombudsman program where we go into nursing homes and offer support to families and residents, again, volunteer-led. So, and then shine counseling, that's another thing. We train people on how to help individuals navigate Medicare when they turn 65. So again, volunteer-led. So many ways that we would love all of you to think about getting engaged and helping our network, as Ethos mentioned earlier. Now I'm going to turn my thoughts to advocacy. I do talk a lot about advocacy, as mentioned. I've been doing it for quite a long time. And I love to talk to groups because I feel like consumers, residents, individuals, just average Joes, we are the most powerful advocates out there. When legislators hear from you, they listen. And I try to say this all the time, you know, I can go in there with the slide decks and, you know, what I showed you, all the facts and figures. But to hear from a person who either needs services and can't get them, receive services and it was a great experience, you know, they need to hear from you. All politics, as I'm going to say on this next slide, I've tried to simplify for people. What are the 5 simple steps to becoming an effective advocate? All politics are local. You know, the most important thing is a call from a local resident. People listen, people want to hear your stories, your opinions, and they want to help you. I mean, you know, I've worked with the legislature for many, many years. Legislators want to help. You know, they don't want people to be suffering. They want to make a difference. And you need to really reach out and share your thoughts. The second point is really keeping the message simple and specific. You know, I try, and I think we all try and do a better job at this. I'm a little bit of a policy wonk, but how do we simplify our message? Keep it clear, and what are you asking? You know, we need more money for instance, this year we needed more money for mental health services. We worked with Tara and her team on that. We need more money. This is exactly how much we need for this program. Thank you. You know, keep it simple. They may call you and they may want to talk more about why you think that need is, and that's great. You know, they might want their staff to talk to you. But when you make the initial ask, keep it simple. Legislators get tons of information. The simpler, the better. Personal stories are the most important. Like I said, if you can tell them that, you know, you received this service, it was helpful, or you could not get this service, that's why we need more money for it, that makes a difference. And I always say, don't forget the power of the press. And today, social media. Legislators are definitely on social media, Facebook, Twitter. Again, maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But if you are, it's a great opportunity to use that. You know, if you see a legislator and you're out and about, take a picture with them and you can share it with the legislator. They might post it, you could post it. People love social media right now. And then don't forget to say thank you. I think that's the most important thing. A lot of people nowadays, it's hard to remember, so please do say thank you. So I know that Ethos is going to share these slides. I won't go into so much detail, but Mass Home Care really has a number of bills that we're trying to advocate with at the Massachusetts legislature to expand the services and supports we can offer to older adults. So I'm going to show you our website at the end and how you can get involved with helping to advocate for those. And then right now, we're very engaged in the state budget process. This is a great graphic to show you where we are at. You know, the governor put out his budget. The House of Representatives has debated and finalized their budget. And we're now waiting for the Senate to put out their budget, which is expected next week. So at all of these points, all the dots, it is always great to have people weigh in support for our initiatives. And I usually share that information with Ethos, but at the end, I'll give my email. If you want to help, I'm happy to share my information on how you can help reach out to support some of these priorities that are on this slide here. Again, not going to go into too much detail because of time, but we're really trying to build support for really some important programs like case management, protective services, mental health services, and direct care worker wages. And finally, I wanted to share some links. Again, I think the Secretary of State's website has an amazing Where Do I Vote tool, which I showed here. All you do is put in your address, your home address, and it will tell you exactly who your legislators are. It is a great tool. I share it with everybody. There's also the legislature's website, the Elder Affairs website, and then again, our website where I will post information on the priorities we're working on, and we certainly welcome help from anyone who's interested. And this is finally the last thing. I think, advocacy is about collaboration, working together, making sure the government, the people, and all the network providers work together to help move the agenda forward. So we need all of you to make our advocacy successful. Here's again, you'll get these slides, my information's there. Welcome any questions, any support, anytime. Thank you so much.
Ooh, thank you, Lisa. That's a lot to take in. The best way then for a senior to share a story or to ask for better services, request better services, is to go directly to their legislator. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think that again, and if you're always welcome to email me for messaging, but definitely if you need services, we obviously would say start with your ASAP. In this case, if they're Boston, start to talk to Ethos, they're age strong. But if you can't get the services, it's always good to talk to your legislator and see if they can help.
Okay, that's great. That's great. And share good stories too. It's nice for the folks who give us the money to realize that we're spending it wisely. So, and some of that pays my salary. So if you want to write and say how great Ethos is, Patrice and I would really appreciate that.
Right.
Thank you, Lisa.
People remember the stories. They never remember anything else. They remember the stories.
That's right. That's right. So thank you again. It's great information. Again, there's lots of information in the chat for folks, but we will be sharing the slide presentations with you at the end of our hour today. So don't feel like you have to write everything down right away. And last but certainly not least, we have another great speaker from Generations Incorporated. And I'll let you in on a secret. As soon as I retire, I'm calling this phone number because after working with seniors for over 30 years, and I love you, I promise I do, but I'm ready to work with the younger generation. So I'm gonna go read to kids as soon as I finish with Ethos. So I'm happy that Generations Incorporated is here. Liz Lanishevsky is their recruitment and training specialist. She has been affiliated with the organization for 9 years, first as a local program leader at a partner school, then as a literacy coach volunteer herself, and finally as a staff member. Liz recruits and trains older adult volunteers to serve as literacy coaches for the Boston area, elementary school students. Liz attended Boston Public Schools herself and understands the transformative impact access to a quality education can have on a student's life. So welcome. We're really happy that you're here today.
Hello, everybody. So as Anne said, I am Liz Yanishevsky from Generations Incorporated. And Anne, I am delighted to hear that you're going to give us a call as soon as you finish up your very important work at Ethos, and we'll be waiting for you. Now that I know, I'm going to write that down and I'll follow up with you. So we are a literacy organization. We are improving the literacy skills of students through grade 3 by engaging professionally trained older adult volunteers as literacy coaches in our partner schools and after-school programs in the greater Boston area. So we have typically worked with Boys and Girls Clubs in Boston and with quite a few Boston public schools, and also with elementary schools in Revere as well. And what we're trying to do is really make sure that every student who exits 3rd grade is proficient in reading and enters 4th grade on reading level. And I'm going to share a few things from my screen as well. I don't have my full slide presentation today, but I can share with you a little bit about the statistics and what we do and why this work is so important. So we are really trying to tackle the literacy crisis in Greater Boston. And so year after year, the testing of students reveals that over 60% of students in our area are not reading at grade level by the end of third grade. And there's a tremendous body of research that establishes that not reading at grade level or not reading proficiently entering fourth grade, exiting third grade, entering fourth grade really has a profound impact on a student's success in school and really later on in life. So students who are not reading proficiently at that pivotal time period are 4 times more likely to drop out of high school. They are much more likely to be involved with the juvenile justice system and with the criminal justice system as adults. More likely to be unemployed or underemployed as adults. And you know, it just really has a lifelong impact on their ability to succeed. So at Generations Incorporated, we really like to say that literacy is the key to lifelong success. We know that it is the vehicle to go on and learn more subjects in higher elementary school and in middle school and high school. If you really think about it, the first 3 grades, kindergarten, first, second, and third grade is when students are being taught how to read by teachers and they're spending time on that. But really fourth grade and beyond, the expectation is that students are proficient readers and that they can now access social studies and geometry, and they can read their biology textbook and so forth. And so if they're not proficient in reading, they really can't access those additional subjects. So we are training older adults to be literacy coaches. We provide 6 hours of pre-service training and then monthly support for older adults so that they can work either in a classroom with students in small groups or one-on-one with students for about 30 minutes per session, twice a week. And we provide a very structured tutoring curriculum for volunteer literacy coaches to follow with a suggested amount of time. So if you're 30 minutes in a session, we're suggesting that you spend 5 minutes in your greeting and getting to know the student, and 15 minutes will really be the bulk of the session on very specific reading activities and fluency building activities in particular. And we are really working to help the students become proficient, but also giving some time back to teachers. So we really hear a lot from classroom teachers that the time that the volunteers spend with students frees up the teachers to dedicate more time to higher need students and give them the attention that they really need. We're seeing that our work with students is not only having an impact on their reading skills, which is our primary goal, but also really the volunteers are serving as mentors as well. And we have had the benefit of a recent research study that showed that 89% of students who worked with our program displayed improvement in concentration and motivation and self-confidence. And even when their volunteer was not in the classroom or working with them on that particular day, the teachers reported that those students who worked with a volunteer showed more willingness to participate in the classroom. So it really has been quite impactful. And so I will flip over to just share with you that we're at a little bit of a crossroads right now, Generations Incorporated. We are having our annual event on May 11th from 5:30 to 6 p.m. And if you go to generationsinc.org/lighting the spark, you can find more information about this event. And this is going to be a really interesting and informative event for anybody who wants to know more about our program and why individuals have been participating with us for so many years. We're going to hear from champions in our community, why they are a part of this important work. There will be a guest speaker, but I want to say most exciting for me is that we will launch a new name and a new brand identity for the organization at this event. And we're going to share details about our plans to expand into additional school districts. So literally, this is probably the last week of Generations Incorporated and our current website. This is the reason why I couldn't get together a slideshow with the new logo and the new brand ready for today. But I just want to encourage any of you, it's free to attend. The information to attend, it's a virtual session, 5:30 to 6 on Tuesday, May 11th. If I didn't hover over this a little bit longer. And it will be quite informative and share great detail about our program and why folks are involved. So I want to share just a little bit more about the benefits for our older adults to volunteer as literacy coaches. This year, as you all know, was extremely challenging. We are primarily an in-person program. We partnered with 15 Boston public schools prior to the pandemic and 4 Boys and Girls Clubs in Boston and 5 Revere Elementary schools. And this involved our older adult literacy coaches going to those school buildings and either volunteering in the classroom with a specific teacher and a specific handful of students that they met with twice a week for the full school year. Or we had a one-on-one pull-out program where, again, volunteers went twice a week on a regular schedule to work with the same students for 30 minutes at a time on a very structured literacy coaching curriculum. And when the pandemic happened, and we certainly couldn't have our older adult volunteers going into the schools, we questioned whether we could continue virtually. And I'm happy to say that we did run a full virtual program this year, and we had 8 schools participating, and we had, I want to say, 50 or 60 new volunteers come forward to participate. And this involved learning how to use Zoom, sharing their screen because we had digital books that the students read from, and participating in a whole new training program. So all of our volunteers, in a typical year, we have 250 volunteer literacy coaches. And those who were able to return and who were comfortable carrying out the program virtually, they had to attend a whole new training in order to do that. So it was quite an undertaking, but we're so proud of what we were able to accomplish, and that we were able to work with eight schools and about 200 students and about 150 volunteers, you know, some returning from previous years and some new this year. We're able to do that. And we heard such great feedback from our volunteer participants in terms of this being an outlet for them. They were able to collaborate with one another and see that smiling face of the child on the Zoom. It was Zoom, so it's not quite the same level of interaction, but they had some fantastic times. So going into school year starting in September, our plan is to be in person primarily to the extent that we can, but we do know now that we've launched this virtual program and we sort of worked out the kinks to do it, we're going to keep a virtual aspect to our program as well. So we're telling folks that they will have opportunities to volunteer in person in our traditional format, working with students at the school, but also we are going to have a virtual component as well. And our plan is to have 2 information sessions, also via Zoom throughout the summer, 2 per month throughout the summer. And we're just getting those dates onto our website. So if folks visit generationsinc.org, you will see shortly a listing of information sessions that we have planned for everybody. And I want to share as well, one of the benefits for our older adults, or older adult volunteers, we really create a community of coaches. And so this is just an example of some of the programming we offer. We're calling it activation. And even today at 11 is going to be a fireside chat with Tom Weber, who is a board member, but also the former commissioner of the Department of Early Education and Care, talking about pressing challenges and promising solutions in early education. We also have virtual coffee hours that we've been doing almost not every Friday, but at least 2 Fridays a month for volunteers. So they've really enjoyed that quite a bit as well. And so on that note, I will stop sharing my screen and just, if I can make sure I share some additional details about what's going to be happening this year. Typically, we're asking volunteers to serve at least 4 hours a week, and it's 2 days per week because that's the most effective way to work with students. If we see them twice a week for about 30 minutes, at some of our program locations, we were able to meet with students for 45 minutes at a time. And the older adult coaches, you're assigned to the same students week after week, so you get to know them. The mentoring is really a strong component of the program as well, and has shown to have some really great impacts on students' social emotional skills as well. So if you are interested in getting involved, I hope that any of you who are interested will join us on May 11th at Lighting the Spark to hear our new name, our new brand, and to hear from some folks who have been involved with our program for quite a number of years about why they do it, why it's important to them. And keep a lookout for information session dates that you can attend that we'll have on our website shortly. And that's my presentation. Thank you so much for giving me this time.
Liz, thank you so much for joining us. Doesn't that sound like fun? Come on, join me at Generations Inc. and read to the little kids.
Absolutely.
And congratulations on your upcoming new name and new branding and all that stuff. That's big goings on. So.
Yes, a lot is happening right this week and next week, but good. Our mission is the same, and we're just expecting and hoping to serve more students. So that's the goal.
Marvelous. Best of luck with all of that. And then one quick question for Tara. And I'm picking on you because I know you worked for the Age Strong Commission for a bit. So there are many more volunteer opportunities through Age Strong as well. And what's the best way for folks to contact them if they're interested in the advocacy side or the volunteer side? What's the best way for them to get involved with Age Strong if they're interested?
I recommend calling the Age Strong phone number, 617-635-4366, and tell them you're interested in volunteering, and see what the options are. But then also remember, for homeowners, there is the Senior Property Tax Work-Off Program. So folks can volunteer and have part of their property tax forgiven.
Yeah, thank you. We tap that, we put that phone number in for us, please, in the chat. Thank you. And Emily Shea, the commissioner for the Age Strong Commission in Boston, will be joining us in week 3, I believe. So stay tuned for her. Unfortunately, the folks from the Massachusetts Senior Action Council couldn't join us today, but I just want to tell you a little bit about them. And also, I put their web address in the chat. The Massachusetts Senior Action Council is a statewide grassroots senior-run organization that empowers its members to collectively address key public policy and community issues that affect their health and well-being. Since 1981, seniors from across Massachusetts have come together through this council to have their voices heard and build their collective power. Together, they have accomplished extraordinary changes, improving the quality of life for all seniors. And some of their accomplishments include affordable health care for seniors, lower MBTA fares, and the preservation of affordable housing. So they're really doing great work. I encourage you to take a look at their website and see what's going on, and see if that's something that would interest you. I'm sure they would value your input for their activities.
And we do have little bit of time for a few questions. I'm hoping we can get our panelists to chime in on a few of them if we have time. This first one is for Lisa, and and we'll be covering some of this information in a future Fridays in May event. But in terms in general about home care eligibility, I understand that the home care program has changed to several, quite a bit over the last several years, and it's no longer just restricted to folks who make, under a certain amount of money each year, or have a particular asset level. Now it's open to pretty much anyone can participate. And can you speak to a little bit to that, and not give all of the details, but just a little bit to that?
Yeah, no, I would agree. The programs, there are different programs, lots of different programs, and I'm glad you're doing a session specifically on that, but we would encourage anyone with any needs to contact their ASAP or their AAA to learn more, because we offer lots of programs that, we have co-payments where if you're over income, you can pay a little bit to support the to get the services. So please don't feel like your income is restricted. And, the general information referral is free for everyone. We do not charge for that. A lot of our volunteer programs are free for everyone. During COVID, the meals has been open. Like, there's lots of opportunities. So please don't feel limited by that call.
That's fantastic. And, sort of staying on the nutrition front, one of our attendees was curious about farmers markets, and I know many farmers markets were closed down. Tara, can you speak a little bit about that? And I know that you, just from your experience at the 8 Strong Commission, that there are programs available that offer seniors farmers market coupons and such, and that some of them are distributed by the Councils on Aging, some of them are just distributed by Ethos and other ASAPs. Can you speak a little bit more about farmers markets for seniors?
Of course. Yeah, last year was definitely a challenging year for the farmers markets for seniors. And so there's a federal seniors farmers market nutrition program, which has 2 prongs. One are the coupons that a lot of people prefer. It's $25. It's, a small amount. It's a one-time per year, but a lot of folks really appreciate them. And then there's the Homebound produce program, which provides about $25 worth of produce to folks who are unable to leave the home. Last year, because of the physical restrictions, a lot of that money got shifted into the coupon money got transferred to the Homebound money. I don't know if that will be an option this year. It might be, so stay tuned. The coupons come to the nutrition programs from the state, and then the local nutrition programs like Ethos distribute the coupons through congregate dining sites. And they did it last year. It was, we weren't sitting down to eat together. We were picking up our meals and taking off in our car. So they were still able to distribute the coupons that way. It was a grab and go type thing. And I'm hoping to have an answer on what the program will look like this year shortly. But the farmers markets are open depending on your community. A lot of it rides on what the local boards of health require or prefer, et cetera. So I would say if you're interested, I put a website in the chat. You can check to see where yours are. Not just the farmers markets, but COAs, et cetera. And you can always reach out to your local and see what's available.
Thank you, Tara. And, one last question while we have time, talking a little bit more generally about advocacy and the state budget process. And, I do understand, there is some of the where the budget stands right now in terms of a few different programs are seeing a bit of a cut, and how that might affect local ASAPs. It may affect their ability to have as many case managers, as many protective services workers. How important is it for folks to pick up the phone today and call their legislators and say, you need to, you need to work with, you need to support our seniors and support our agencies to restore that funding. How important is it for folks to do that today?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you can call your senator, your Mass senator today, because the Senate is where the budget currently is being thought of, focused on right now, developed still. So yeah, I think it's super important because, next week the budget will be out. Hopefully that money's in there. If it's not, we're going to need those senators to try to add it to their final budget process, which will happen in the next couple of weeks. So I would agree, Ray, if you can make a call about again, with on the slide deck, and I can share, if you want to share the fact sheet on this for people, it'd be really important to call your senator and ask them to support the Aging Network agenda.
That's fantastic. Anne, I'll leave it to you for a close, and thank you so much to all our presenters for joining us.
Yes, let me echo that. Thank you so much. And thanks for joining us, all the rest of you. Thanks for hanging in with us for an hour. Technology is a marvelous thing, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but we got through it just fine. So we'll be sending that information out to you so you'll have it on your computer as well. Next week, you will hear from the 3 Boston ASAPs. We all do similar things for residents in the city of Boston, but we each do different things as well that we kind of specialize in. So I hope you will join us again next week and learn all about that. So have a great weekend, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. Happy Mother's Day to the moms out there. And we're getting pretty close to Lilac Sunday too. I don't know if you've noticed that the lilacs are out. So enjoy the beautiful weather and enjoy our beautiful city. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.